not difficult at all. It was actually one of the smoothest, most joyful experiences I've had so far in my career. Director Bong is an incredible human being, separate to the fact that he's an incredible creative, and it was just, we all just were pinching ourselves and having a great time, having a ball.
And do you think we should, in general, like have a lot of Robert Pattinsons, or do you think one is enough?
I just think one of each, because if you start multiplying anything, it becomes like inflation. The value goes down. I just came up with that top of my head.
No, the next one is...
It was great because they did their own interpretation. And Ayo Edebiri asked first, before the reading, she said, like, what about humor? Can we put a little comedy in it? And Peter and I said, just go for it. Have fun with it. The movie is made. We want to hear a different version of it. And everyone did their own interpretation and really enjoyed it and put humor into it and comedy. And she read it in a million different voices. And Brett Goldstein did his interpretation. And Josh Gad and Patton Oswalt, they all had fun with it. Even Peter had a joke in there. So it was great.
It's important to me to focus on the job at hand for me, which is like to promote the film and talk about it in a way that I feel is authentic to my perspective on why we were there and why we were doing it. And I think it was all, for me, it's always about sticking to that. And I think it's quite good to, to have a zoomed out version of it rather than like micro in on the like minutiae, but a sort of general feeling of. And I've had a really, really warm response. As like today is just a part of that. I've had a really warm response from a lot of people, which is very nice.
So, on your way.
The only thing, you got to give him credit that he manages to reinvent himself every decade. But, the agenda of fear, the agenda of retribution, revenge, that's not what helps humanity. That's not what creates growth and connection between people. It's very divisive. So look, you can't help but get there, right, as you're talking about it, but I think it was important, and I have such a respect for Ali Abbasi and for all of our producers who've gone out there to try to make this movie. And by the way, fairly, I'll say that fairly. We really went and looked at all the things, even the things that he was doing at the time that appeared pretty good. There was ideas about New York City, bringing it out of the slums of the 70s. There was an idealism. He was on the cover of many magazines. He was being interviewed by Larry King and Oprah and all of these credible people, right? I mean, so we're not denying that all the allure and all of his character, but we're also including the things that we all know as well are very true about him. So, and the goal is to experience this person and walk away and see whether you feel you've understood something else or not. I am taking my mom, yeah. I have to because, when we first came, one of the first visits before we moved to America, we actually took this tour bus in Los Angeles and we went by the Dolby Theater. I must have been I think 10 or something like that. And I remember standing at the Dolby Theater with her, and now I'm going with her. So it's a really, I want to share that moment with her. I owe her everything, and it'll be memorable forever. So.
I feel very lucky to be here. I'm not, this is all more than anybody expected, certainly from my life and skill set, but also from this movie, which was like a modest movie. So I'm all playing with house money.
Amazing. You're not coming with Kieran?
Well, no, because we're different people, and he's married to a woman named Jazz, and I'm married to Anna. But he can't be here tonight, which means that if he wins, I get to accept yet another award in his absence, which will be my 4th or 5th acceptance of an award on behalf of Kieran Culkin. and 0 on behalf of Jesse Eisenberg.
Oh no. Has he given you something to read, or are you just riffing?
I riff in the spirit of him, I riff. And then say something vaguely inappropriate, but for some reason everybody loves it anyway. Yeah.